As someone who went from almost peeing their pants whenever I had to talk in front of people to someone who can now somewhat tolerate it, this is my top tip for public speaking. But before we get into that, I'll prove how bad I was at public speaking. One day in 8th grade, we had to do a Socratic seminar in language arts about a book. Basically, our desks were arranged in a circle, and everyone had to take turns asking questions and answering other people's questions about our book. In order for the teacher to keep up with who spoke and who didn't, we were given 2 pom-pom balls and a cup. We had to put a pom-pom ball in the cup whenever we spoke. So everyone around me was having a nice little discussion while I'm just quietly freaking out on the inside because I was terrified of talking to people. The minutes ticked by closer and closer to the end of class, and pretty much everyone had spoken except for me. I hadn't made a single peep. And I tried to, but I just couldn't muster up the courage. It was just non-existent. I felt so humiliated, frustrated, upset, and a million other things that I can't even describe. I was just so mad at myself for not being able to do something so seemingly simple, talking. Why can't everyone else do it except for me? Now, if you Google how to overcome your nerves for public speaking, it'll tell you things like breathe, think positive thoughts, and if those things work for you, great, but for me, it did not. Whenever I'm in a scenario where I have to give a presentation or talk in front of a crowd, all I could think about was exactly that. Literally nothing else would divert my fear. It would just be really, really bad heart pounding, knees weak, arms heavy, mom spaghetti anxiety, until, of course, I get the talking to people part over with. But at the end of the year in 9th grade, we had to give a TED talk about a topic of our choice, and I chose to do the topic, How to Overcome Your Fears. Why? Well, I thought it'd be ironically funny. It was kind of a challenge because now I had to sound confident and sound like I knew what I was doing, otherwise it'd be ironic that I was up there talking about how to overcome your fears while quaking in my boots. So with this feeling of impending doom and this pressure of having to present myself as I'm calm and I know what I'm talking about, I worked really hard on my presentation, my script, and practiced the heck out of it, over and over and over again. Come presentation day, and I chose to go second so I can get it over with. I'm not even joking, I started with, so I want you all to take a moment and think about something that you're scared of. Maybe it's something that most people commonly fear, such as the heights or the dark. Maybe it's even about the presentation you're about to do in front of the entire class. And the rest of the presentation actually went really well. I was trembling a little bit, but I tried to put enough assertiveness into my voice to the point where you couldn't hear the shakiness. I barely even had to look at my note cards because I'd practiced so much. And the feeling of pure relief after you get it over with is the best thing ever. This presentation really changed my mentality. It was kind of like a switch went off in my brain and I was like, maybe I can do this. There was also another time where the counselors hosted a multilingual parent night for families whose first language wasn't English so that they could come in and learn about high school and college. They were looking for translation volunteers. I was scared of people and of my counselor, and although every nerve in my body was like, abort mission, I thought this was a good experience for me. Plus, I'm bilingual so I could help people with that. So I signed up and showed up. Literally everything in me was saying, you're not good enough for this, what if you mess up, what if you say something dumb, what if you don't know how to translate something, leave right now. But I forced myself to sit and stay despite the intense urge to run away due to my flight or fight instincts. And guess what, it didn't even turn out to be that bad. I just proved all my fears wrong and then I was like, hey, maybe I can do this. But then, of course, a month later, something happens that doesn't turn out so great. Like, you give a presentation and then stumble over a few words, and then you're like, never mind, guys, maybe I'm not so good at it. So after all of this, what is my best advice, you might ask? Keep intentionally exposing yourself to your fears and keep trying no matter what, because you can imagine every worst case scenario, but you won't overcome the fear unless you practice. It's not a quick jump. You'll go from, oh my god, I can't do this at all, to that wasn't as bad as the first time, but it was still pretty bad, and so on, until you eventually get to the this is okay stage. You might fall along the way or go back a few steps, and it's not going to be easy, but as long as you never give up, you'll keep making progress. You should try to overcome a fear that you have because I believe in you. Unfortunately, I don't know a way to make the actual process easier. If you do, let me know in the comments. The end. Thanks for watching.